There's something profound happening right now in this very moment that most people in the manifestation community are completely missing. And what I'm about to share with you will challenge everything you think you know about the law of attraction. You see, for the past decade, we've been taught that manifestation is about doing more. More vision boards, more affirmations, more scripting, more gratitude practices, more. And if it's not working, you're told you're not doing enough, not believing hard enough, not vibrating high enough. But what if I told you that every single technique you've been taught is actually working against the very law you're trying to activate? What if the reason your manifestations aren't showing up isn't because you're doing too little, but because you're doing too much? Let me tell you about Adrian. 2 years ago, he was exactly where many of you are right now. Frustrated. Desperate. Feeling like manifestation was some cosmic joke that everyone else was in on except him. He had tried every technique, every coach, every program. His apartment looked like a manifestation shrine, vision boards on every wall, crystals on every surface, affirmation cards scattered across his desk. And his life? Empty bank account, rejections from jobs, loneliness that cut so deep he could barely breathe. He was doing everything the gurus told him to do, yet nothing was happening. Sound familiar? Then one Tuesday morning, something extraordinary occurred. Adrian was sitting in his car after another crushing job interview rejection, and he just gave up. Not in defeat, but in surrender. In that moment of complete release, when he stopped trying to force the universe to respond, when he stopped performing spirituality, something shifted. The desperation lifted. The mental noise quieted, and for the first time in years, he felt complete. 3 days later, his phone rang with an opportunity that would change everything. But here's the thing, that moment in the car wasn't when he finally got his manifestation right. It was when he stopped interfering with the law of attraction and allowed it to work through him instead of working against it. You see, the law of attraction isn't broken. You're not broken. The techniques aren't even broken. What's broken is our understanding of how this law actually operates at the quantum level. And once you understand this, once you really get it, manifestation becomes as natural as breathing. The truth is, you've been manifesting perfectly your entire life. Every single moment of every single day, you're using the law of attraction with absolute precision. The problem isn't that it's not working, the problem is that it's working exactly as designed, responding to your true energetic signature, not the one you think you're broadcasting. Most people approach manifestation like they're placing an order with the universe. I want this, I want that, please deliver it by Friday. But the law of attraction doesn't work like Amazon Prime. It's not a cosmic vending machine where you put in the right coins and get your desires out. The law of attraction is a mirror. It reflects back to you who you're being energetically, not what you're wanting mentally. And this is where everything changes, because when you truly understand this principle, you stop trying to attract anything, and you start becoming everything. Adrian's breakthrough wasn't about finding the right manifestation technique. It was about discovering that he'd been trying to attract abundance, while energetically identifying as someone who lacked abundance. He'd been asking for love, while vibrating unworthiness. He'd been visualizing success, while carrying failure in every cell of his body. The moment he stopped trying to convince the universe he was ready, the moment he stopped performing worthiness, the moment he released the desperate need to prove himself, something inside him shifted. He wasn't trying to become abundant. He simply remembered that he already was. And this is the quantum truth that changes everything. You are not separate from what you want to manifest. You and your desires exist in the same field of infinite possibility. The distance between you and your manifestation isn't physical or temporal, it's energetic. And that distance collapses the moment you stop trying to bridge it and start embodying the truth that it was never there in the first place. In quantum physics, there's a principle called the observer effect. It states that the mere act of observation changes the behavior of particles. But here's what most people miss. The observer and the observed are not separate, they're part of one unified field. When quantum physicists study consciousness, they discover that the observer doesn't just witness reality, the observer literally selects which possibility becomes real from infinite potential outcomes. When applied to manifestation, This means you're not hoping for your manifestation to show up. You're choosing which version of reality to experience. You're not trying to attract something outside yourself. You're collapsing a possibility that already exists within your field of potential. But here's where most people get lost. They think the observer effect means you have to watch for signs, look for evidence, track your manifestations. That's not observing, that's obsessing. True observation in quantum terms means witnessing from a place of knowing, not seeking. It means seeing your manifestation as already complete in the field of possibility, not hoping it will become complete in the future. David Bohm, one of the most brilliant quantum physicists of our time, described reality as an implicate order, a field where everything exists folded within everything else. What we call manifestation is simply the unfolding of what was always there, waiting for the right frequency to call it into form. Your desires aren't separate from you, they're part of your implicate order, already existing within your consciousness, already perfect, already complete. The law of attraction isn't about attracting something foreign to you, it's about unfolding what's already naturally yours. But if this is true, if everything you want already exists within your field, why does manifestation feel so difficult? Why do so many people struggle with the law of attraction? The answer lies in understanding the difference between your natural frequency and your learned frequency. Your natural frequency is pure creative power. It's abundance, love, joy, health, success, not as things you need to acquire, but as qualities you naturally embody. A child doesn't try to be joyful. Joy is their default state. They don't work to be creative. Creativity flows through them effortlessly. They don't practice abundance. They assume their needs will be met. But as we grow up, we learn a different frequency. We learn that love must be earned, that money is scarce, that success requires struggle, that we're not enough as we are. We learn to want instead of to be, and wanting by its very nature broadcasts the message that we don't have. This creates what quantum physicists call decoherence. Your natural frequency becomes entangled with learned limitations, creating static in your energetic broadcast. The law of attraction responds to this mixed signal with mixed results. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and you can't figure out why. The secret to effortless manifestation isn't learning new techniques, it's unlearning the interference patterns that block your natural creative power. It's not about raising your vibration, it's about clearing the static so your true frequency can shine through. Adrian didn't need to become someone new. He needed to remember who he'd always been underneath the layers of doubt, struggle, and spiritual performance. In that moment of surrender in his car, he didn't gain something, he released something. He released the need to prove his worthiness to the universe. He released the belief that manifestation required effort. He released the identity of someone who had to earn what was naturally his, and in that release, his natural frequency emerged. Not the frequency of wanting abundance, but the frequency of being abundance. Not the frequency of seeking love, but the frequency of embodying love. Not the frequency of hoping for success, but the frequency of knowing his own creative power. The HeartMath Institute has discovered something remarkable about human physiology. When your heart and brain are in coherence, when there's no internal conflict between what you think and what you feel, your body generates an electromagnetic field that's 60 times stronger than normal. You literally become a walking transmitter of coherent energy. This is the scientific basis of what spiritual teachers have called alignment. When you're aligned, when there's no war between your thoughts and emotions, when your entire being is tuned to a single frequency, you become magnetically irresistible to your manifestations. The law of attraction has no choice but to respond. But coherence can't be faked. You can't think positive thoughts while feeling negative emotions and expect the universe to ignore the contradiction. You can't affirm abundance while your body carries the cellular memory of scarcity and expect clean results. True coherence happens when you release the need to manage your vibration and simply return to your natural state. This is why so many manifestation techniques feel exhausting. They're asking you to maintain a frequency that's not natural to you. They're asking you to think yourself into a new reality instead of being yourself into a new reality. And being always trumps thinking in the quantum field. Think about it this way: when you're truly happy, do you try to attract more happiness? No, you radiate it naturally. When you feel genuinely abundant, do you chase money? No, opportunities chase you. When you're in love, do you work to magnetize affection? No, love flows through you effortlessly. This is manifestation in its natural state, not as a technique to practice, but as a frequency to embody. The shift from wanting to being isn't just a mental concept, it's a physiological transformation. When you stop trying to attract something and start embodying it, your nervous system relaxes, your brain waves shift, your heart rhythm becomes coherent, your entire energetic signature changes. And the universe, which is always listening, always responding, always perfectly attuned to your true frequency, begins to rearrange reality to match your new energetic state. Not because you convinced it to, but because you stopped convincing it not to. This brings us to the most practical aspect of quantum manifestation. How do you actually make this shift? How do you move from the frequency of wanting to the frequency of being? How do you access your natural creative power and let the law of attraction work through you instead of against you? The answer is simpler than you think, but it requires something most people aren't willing to give up: the need to control outcomes. True manifestation happens when you become more interested in who you're becoming than in what you're getting. When you become more fascinated by your own creative power than by specific results. Every morning, you have an opportunity to choose your frequency for the day, not by thinking positive thoughts, but by tuning into the energetic truth of who you really are. Before your mind starts replaying yesterday's limitations, before you check your phone and get pulled into the external world, you have a window of pure creative potential. In this window, place your attention on your heart space. Breathe slowly and deeply, allowing your nervous system to shift from survival mode to creation mode. This isn't a technique, it's a return to your natural state. You're not trying to raise your vibration, you're removing the blocks that lower it. From this space of inner stillness, recall what it feels like to be someone for whom your deepest desires are already lived reality. Not the excitement of getting them, but the quiet satisfaction of having them. This isn't visualization, it's recognition. You're not imagining a future state, you're acknowledging a present truth in the quantum field. Stay in this recognition as long as it feels natural. Don't force it, don't time it, don't turn it into another spiritual task. Simply allow yourself to remember who you are when all the stories, all the limitations, all the learned scarcity falls away. This is your natural frequency. This is the real you. From this state, simply trust that your external world will reorganize to match your internal shift. Not because you're forcing it to, but because it has no choice. The law of attraction is a law, not a suggestion. When your frequency changes, your reality changes. It's not magic, it's physics. Adrian learned this by accident, but you can choose it consciously. Every moment of every day, you can choose to align with your natural creative power instead of your learned limitations. You can choose to be what you want to manifest instead of wanting what you think you need to attract. But what if doubt creeps in? What if your mind says, "This isn't working," or "I'm just pretending"? Here's what you need to understand. Doubt is simply your old identity, trying to maintain its familiar reality. It's not evidence that the process isn't working. It's evidence that it is working, and your conditioned mind is feeling threatened by the shift. When doubt arises, acknowledge it. Thank it for trying to protect you from disappointment. Then gently return to your knowing. The quantum field doesn't require your belief to operate. It responds to your being, regardless of what your thoughts are doing. This isn't about pretending you already have things you don't have. It's about recognizing that in the quantum field, where all possibilities exist simultaneously, you already are everything you're seeking to become. Your job isn't to create these possibilities, it's to stop interfering with their natural unfoldment. The law of attraction doesn't care about your past, your current circumstances, or your logical mind's opinion about what's possible. It only responds to your present moment frequency. And when that frequency is clear, coherent, and aligned with your true nature, manifestation becomes inevitable. But here's what you must understand. This shift requires you to let go of controlling how and when your manifestations appear. You must trust the intelligence of the universe to orchestrate details your mind could never manage. This isn't giving up your power, it's finally owning it. When you reach this level of trust, when you can feel complete without external validation, when you can embody your desires without needing them to show up on your timeline, you've mastered quantum manifestation. Not through complex techniques or spiritual performance, but through the simple recognition that you and the law of attraction are not two separate things, you are one unified field of creative possibility. This understanding changes everything. You stop trying to use the law of attraction and start allowing it to use you. You stop managing your manifestations and start embodying them. You stop being a student of manifestation and start being a master of your own creative power. The moment you truly grasp this, something profound shifts in your entire being. You realize that every technique you've ever learned, every affirmation you've ever spoken, every vision board you've ever created was just preparation for this moment of recognition. The moment when you stop trying to become someone who can manifest and start being someone who is manifestation, because that's what you are. You're not a person trying to use the law of attraction. You are the law of attraction in human form. You're not someone seeking abundance, love, success, health. You are abundance, love, success, health, temporarily forgetting your true nature and trying to attract what you already are. This forgetting isn't your fault. It's part of the human experience. We come into this world knowing our unlimited nature, and gradually we learn limitations. We learn that we're separate from our desires, that we have to work for what we want, that we're not worthy of our dreams without proving ourselves first. But these are all learned beliefs, not ultimate truths. And what's learned can be unlearned. What's forgotten can be remembered. What seems separate can be reunited. And that's exactly what quantum manifestation is, the remembering of your true nature as pure creative consciousness. When Adrian sat in his car that Tuesday morning, he wasn't learning something new. He was remembering something ancient, something that had been with him all along, buried under years of trying, striving, and spiritual performing. In that moment of complete exhaustion, when he had nothing left to try, his true nature emerged naturally. And this is available to you right now, not as something you need to achieve or become, but as something you can remember and embody. Right here, right now, in this very moment, you can choose to stop trying to attract your desires and start being the person who naturally magnetizes them. It doesn't require years of practice or complex spiritual disciplines. It doesn't require you to be perfect or have all your limiting beliefs cleared. It just requires a simple recognition and choice, the recognition that you are already what you seek, and the choice to embody that truth regardless of current appearances. This is what makes quantum manifestation so powerful and so simple at the same time. You're not trying to manipulate external forces or convince the universe of anything. You're simply aligning with what's already true about you at the deepest level. You're returning home to yourself. Write "I am" in the comments. Let those two words anchor this recognition into your consciousness, not as an affirmation of something you hope to become, but as a declaration of what you've always been. You are not learning to manifest. You are remembering that manifestation is what you are. The law of attraction has been working through you perfectly your entire life. Now you get to choose whether it works for you or against you. Now you get to decide whether you'll use your creative power consciously or unconsciously. Now you get to remember that you're not separate from your desires. You are the very field in which they exist. This is quantum manifestation. This is the law of attraction operating at its highest level. This is you, remembering your true nature as a conscious creator in an infinitely responsive universe. Welcome home.